Joe, what's your year been like so far? Obviously, the injury has disrupted it. It looked like you were just like ever since winning the All Ireland, like your form seems to have been going through the roof and getting even better and better. Must have been just so frustrating.
Yeah, frustrating enough, I suppose, when you get injured just before championship. It's always kind of hard to miss, 'cause that's what you train for. You train for championship. But yeah, that's life. It's just things you have to get on with. But yeah, just a frustrating year all around, I think, for Galway more so than myself.
And did you feel like your form is improving? Because from an outsider looking in, it does seem like 2018, your form probably shot up even from 2017, and in 2019 was going very well. Like even in that game against Waterford, you were playing very well.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know. It's like I judge myself on different things that probably other people judge me on. For years I was probably more scoring and stuff like that, and I think I've changed, and I'm a different player than I was maybe 5 years ago when I was more in the full forward line and stuff like that. So people can still judge me on kind of things that were back then compared to now. So I think over the last number of years I've been consistent enough, but yeah, you'd always like to think you're trying improving anyway, year on year and match on match. So yeah.
Does that relate to like people still expect like to score 212 in a game even though you're playing in a different position? Is that what you mean by that?
Yeah. Like people, if you don't score even 3 or 4 points in a game, you're compared to different players the whole time, and it's kind of it's not same for same. It's like comparing, let's say, even in the All Ireland, TJ Reid and Shamie Cannon, they're two different complete players. Like Shamie is just a goal machine, I suppose, at the moment, and TJ like works so hard for the team, sets up so much and contributes in a different way. So like they're the two probably marquee forwards for both team, but they're different players, if you know what I mean.
Well, TJ hasn't scored in the last 2 games from play yet. He's arguably man of the match both times. Do you think people like?
There you have it.
Yeah, that probably sums it up.
That sums it up. Yeah.
When you see Rian O'Neill taking your celebration for Armagh this year, you did that. Probably was that against Kilkenny in 2009. You did
Years
the John
ago,
Cena thing as well. Did that get a little smirk out of you when you saw him doing it?
To me, I didn't see it live. I saw it back on Twitter or something like that. Yeah, I thought it was funny enough. Alright, yeah. It wasn't done for a long time, so I don't know. He's like, I think he's only like 19 or something like that. So he was very young, I suppose, when I did it all those years ago. So I don't even know if he probably got a bigger surprise that I did before than when he did it.
What was the reason you did it actually?
I was just a bet with the boys in
was
college.
It?
Yeah. That's all it was. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Were you into your WWF or
No.
WWE? No.
No, not at all.
This time last year when we talked, I was asking you about the next 4 or 5 years of your career, how that would go, and you were talking about with injuries in your knee and stuff like that you'd be looking more shorter term at it. Do you still feel that way?
Yeah. I take it year on year. Like I'm not thinking of 2 or 3 years time. To be honest, you see this year, like it was probably a no year, really. You can just scratch it off. So like all I'm thinking about is trying to get back for next year, and pre-season in a couple of months' time.
And was it a bit annoying to you when it was initially reported that your injury wasn't all that serious?
Yeah, it was. Like, it's this whole thing about being first in society now, no matter if it's true or not true. So yeah, it was I just found it funny that it was reported like to be taken off in a stretcher for a dead leg. Even though we said after the match it was a groin injury. So yeah, I found it like, I think it was only a week before that match, I retweeted something about Denzel Washington said a few years ago about the media kind of, if you read a paper you're misinformed, if you don't read it you're uninformed. And they don't care.
Yeah.
So they don't care if it's true or not as long as they're first.
Yeah.
And I think that's a society we live in now as well, with media and stuff like that. So I think that was just all it was about. I think it was just about trying to get there first, even though you didn't have a clue what it was.
So it was probably important, and that's why Galway clarified with the
Yeah,
message
yeah.
out. Yeah. So
Yeah.
what was your role then with the team? I presume you stayed centrally involved at most of the sessions.
Well, like it's very hard. So like when you're injured, every lad will tell you that has long-term injury, you're kind of doing rehab and stuff like that. So most of the time I was actually on my own with the physios, the side of the field, and like I remember Dad asking me at home, like, how are you going? To be straight up, I didn't actually know, because when you're not in the middle of it, training away with the lads, you don't know how lads are feeling or how lads are going in training. So it's very hard to see that from a different perspective, because I'm not used to it. So for me, for a long time, it was just on my own training, and then I suppose the week before Kilkenny, I was back in full training with the lads. So yeah, it wasn't like, obviously you were still around on the sideline and stuff like that, and involved in any way you could, or any way the management wanted you to be involved. So yeah, in that way.
And there was plenty of shots during the games. I can't remember which one in particular. Of you being up in the stands as well with for example, Kieran Cunningham, or sorry, Kieran Donaghy, and a few more. I don't know how I made that mistake, but up there with him. So what was your role there? Was it just if you saw something that you might mention it to
No,
someone?
I was taking down stats, to be honest.
Right.
So yeah, they gave me a role with the stats team for 2 of the games, and just taking down different stats, and that's all it was. I think one of the guys was on holidays or something like that. That's part of the stats team. So it was either that or sit down with the subs, and they asked me would I do it. So I said, yeah, sure, why not? It's the same thing. I wouldn't have any involvement in anything else. Yeah, it was only just marking different stats.
Yeah,
that I saw.
obviously I don't want you to give away what
No,
it was.
no.
But
I'm not going to tell you.
yeah, did it make you rethink? Like, did it make you look at things in a different light? Doing this from this angle.
Not really. You still want to be down the pitch, don't you? So yeah, I was just helping out in any way I could, and that's all it was. I wasn't mic'd up or anything like that, or looking at it in different ways. I was only just on my laptop taking down stats.
And it was an unbelievable performance against Kilkenny, and it looked like, right, this is the spark to light the fuse for Galway this year. And then didn't quite happen against Dublin. You come on and got a couple of points as well. Why do you think it just didn't quite happen against Dublin?
It's obviously a hard place to go and get a result, and they were well up for it as well. Like they got a goal with I think 2 or 3 minutes to go. Like kind of, and it was nip for tuck the whole way through. And it's obviously very hard to get back a result then at the very end. I think they went 3 points, obviously with the goal they went 3 points up, and they got another score. So like when you're trying to win back a 4-point lead in the space of maybe 2 or 3 minutes, that's very hard to do. So that match could have went other anyway really, up until the last couple of minutes. So yeah, maybe the week before just took a good bit out of us. Like that was a big result down in Kilkenny, to beat them. So Dublin had I think 2 or 3 weeks off coming into that game. So yeah, they deserved it on the day, I think. And
considering now Kilkenny are in the All-Ireland final, you've beaten Kilkenny. Is there an element of like kind of a missed opportunity this year?
Well, when you're, doesn't matter who you kind of beat or didn't beat. You always dream at the start of the year that the All-Ireland is where you want to be. So there's always a missed opportunity when you're not there. Every year is a missed opportunity when you don't get to an All-Ireland, no matter who you play.
And did you watch the 2 semi-finals?
Bits and pieces, yeah. Yeah. I wouldn't be watching them too often, no.
Right. Okay. Is there a reason for that?
It's kind of hard. Like it's just I suppose you want to be there playing, and I think if you don't feel that kind of hurt in a way that, we were there the last couple of years, so you're kind of itching to get back there, and it kind of ignites a bit of hunger in you, I suppose, for next year again.
So not particularly planning on going to the final then?
No. But I know it's an All-Ireland final at the end of the day. You're kind of, there's a spectator part of you that you kind of want to experience it as well. So the minors are in the final as well. So one of our own guys is on the panel there, Declan Glocklin. So we'll try and maybe go support him. He's a cousin of Jack, my nephew, as well, on the other side of the family. So there's kind of a family connection there somewhere. And
are you back playing with Portumna? Like, is the groin fully right?
Yeah. No, I'm fine. No, I wouldn't say, like, we're not out until the 17th of August. So that's our first championship match since April.
Right. Okay.
So like, we haven't played anything in Galway really. Maybe a couple of league matches, challenge matches, but it's difficult to play with the club when there's no matches on.
Yeah. And just a quick Q&A then, if you don't mind. Who would be your toughest opponent and why?
JJ Delaney.
Yeah?
Yeah, I don't think you need a reason, do you?
Probably not. You got a goal off him in that 2012 final.
Yeah, but no, I actually wasn't really on him that day.
Were you not?
No, not for the goal, no.
Alright, okay, fair enough. Who's the team you most like to beat?
Tipperary.
Yeah?
I live in the border.
Right on the border, yeah.
Right in the border, so I'm sure it's the same for Bonner living in Laura that he likes to beat Galway.
Who's been the biggest influence on your career?
Probably Ollie, my brother. Yeah.
From any era, if you could transfer one player to your county, who would it be and why?
DJ.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Just class.
He's just deadly.
Very exciting.
Yeah, because I think Kilkenny weren't as good as a whole collective team when he was there, but he just made them unbelievable.
And what's the best score you've seen in real life? It can be one of your own if you want.
Best score I've seen in real life? I don't know. I don't know.
It's a tough one off the top of my head.
Yeah. I don't know off the top of my head. Yeah.
Have you seen any sort of tactical developments in the last year or two that have caught your eye?
Clare last year against us, they didn't play with a centre forward for a large part of the first half. They played with like 5 other forwards with no centre forward. It was unusual, yeah.
Do you think that the tactics are going to continue to evolve in
hurling? Yeah.
When you hear people say that there aren't really tactics, it goes out the window. What do you think of that?
It's bullshit, really.
It is, yeah. What's been the biggest disappointment to your career? We'll get to the positive stuff.
Losing 15.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Because it was there, you had it?
Yeah.
Who's given the best, most memorable motivational sort of speech to you? Can be training before a match or what have you?
Who's given the best motivational speech? Jeez, there's been so many of them down through the years. Probably got Paul O'Connell in, 2 years ago.
Before you won the All-Ireland, was it?
Yeah, it was pretty good.
Do you remember anything from it?
Just everything about it, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what's the toughest training camp you've ever done?
One of Fitzy's.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Out to the Catlow Woods?
Shannon Hill, yeah. Hill and Shannon used to be tough. We did a few under Anthony, alright, back in 12. No, they weren't in camps, they were just trainings. Probably Fitzy or Anthony, yeah.
Yeah. Who's the joker on the panel?
Derby, yeah. Davy Glennon.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Well, what's he be up to?
He's not with it at all sometimes.
Who's the best trainer?
Probably Pádraig Mannion.
Right. Who's the best dressed?
Best dressed?
Yeah.
Oh, jeez, some shocking lads there. I don't know. They're all useless.
Right. Who is the worst then?
Conor Whelan.
Is he why?
He's ridiculous stuff he wears, yeah. Doesn't match at all.
Who loves the media attention?
Oh, I don't know really. Wheelo.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Now we have to be careful with this one, but who's the ladies' man at the panel?
The ladies' man?
Yeah.
Well, there's a difference between thinking he is and not. Who probably gets the Garage Mac could probably get a
Yeah.
yeah.
6
He'd be
foot
good
four.
look. Yeah, he'd be a
tall,
good
dark
looking
and
fella.
handsome,
Like
What second last one? What player from another sport do you admire?
I always admired O'Gara.
Yeah?
O'Gara, yeah. He was my like hero growing up. Yeah.
Is it even just having to take a placed ball under pressure with the whole stadium watching you?
Yeah, and he always backed it up, even for his like he wouldn't have been the biggest player in rugby, and people used to target him the whole time, and he used to always get back up, and just so many times under pressure he did it. Like,
And then the final one. What manager from another sport do you admire?
what manager? Yeah, I'm a Liverpool supporter, so Klopp. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think he's good. Yeah.
Where did you watch the Champions League final?
Carton House.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Good all night with it.
we were on a camp.
All right. Okay. Cheers, Joe.
All right, no bother.
Appreciate it.
Cheers.